All right, so let's go ahead and start with a quick glance at our agenda. We are going to start with Ask XMTP Anything, AXA, with a tour of XMTP network data. Then we'll have updates from engineering and DevX, and then some XIP updates. So let's go ahead and dive right in, and I'll hand it over to Saul for a tour of XMTP network data.
Thanks, Jeha. Hey, everyone. I'm Saul. I work in product at XMTP Labs. I can tell you a little bit about the data that's available in the XMTP network and how you can explore it on DUNE. So the first thing I want to focus on is actually what we don't have. XMTP has since day one prioritized priority at the fundamental level of the protocol, really enshrined it in how we've built XMTP. So privacy extends all the way to the contents of the messages, the content types of messages, even the senders and recipients on messages, even who's in a conversation. What that means as a product person is that I don't know what our DAUs are, and I can't communicate that or learn from it. And it's a trade-off that we're willing to make because at the product metrics that we can use to drive growth, while valuable, are directly at odds with the values of the protocol and the principles that we stand to uphold. What we do have that is very much in line with what we're trying to do at XMTP is just a simple list of wallets that are on XMTP. This is obviously required for the protocol to function. You need to know that a wallet is on the network in order to be able to reach it. Many of you use the can message function, which allows you to detect if that wallet is on XMTP. When wallets come on the XMTP network, they simply publish a message that announces their availability, their address, and has a timestamp on it. We can use that message to essentially pair that wallet with any of its on-chain activity, including its identity associations. And this gives us a picture of network reach. Network reach is one of the most important things that we do track at XMTP Labs about the XMTP network. It allows us to understand that as developers building on the XMTP network, what kind of audience there is out there, who your users can reach, who as a broadcaster or a bot developer is actually out there available today to use your product. Next slide. So we talk about this reachable identities metric quite a bit. This is from last month, the 1.9 million, and it's up about 50K since then. I'm excited to share. We track 5 different namespaces with identifiers that can be tracked or traced back to wallets using on-chain data. Actually, 4 use on-chain data, 1 uses off-chain data. I'll get into that in a moment. ENS and unstoppable domains are both what we consider wallet identifiers, simple human readable names associated with wallets. Coinbase ID, also a wallet identifier. This is what I mentioned is actually using off-chain data that we have available. Social profiles, of course, are Lens and Farcaster, and there's some differences in how users actually use wallet identifiers versus social profiles that I'll get into momentarily. Next slide, please. So we've exposed this data on DUNE for you to explore. There are 2 actually useful things, and one that we've put on DUNE for perspective. First, of course, the actual reachable identities, the total number, as well as the breakdown by namespaces and the market share the different namespaces have within the XMTP ecosystem, and how that has changed over time. And second, we've actually published a list of the activated wallets with reachable identities. Again, the total number and broken down by namespace. This is very useful now that consent is baked into the protocol. And having a list of addresses on the XMTP network can be public information without fear of the user's inbox getting blown up with spam. The number of activated wallets actually relates to that last point. There are 35 million activated wallets on XMTP. That's 20 times the number of active identities. there's over the last couple of days, probably 500,000 new wallets being activated on XMTP every day. I think it's fair to say, although we don't know because we don't know anything about senders or message content, that 99.5% of those wallets are created for the purpose of either sending spam or collecting an airdrop in the future. Those are not legitimate users created with identities, but we don't feel their presence. They're sending messages. They're showing up in the spam tabs of apps that use that even display spam. Many of the apps today in XMTP have great spam detection and filtering, and even just filter these out. So, despite the fact that there's 35 million wallets on the network, we actually have a core community of this 1.95 million reachable identities that are able to experience and chat on XMTP without spam intruding on their experience. And next slide, please. Great. I will actually show you all the dashboard real quick here. It's my first time using Huddle O1 screen share, so bear with me for a moment. I'll see in that.
Yes, perfect.
Great. Okay. I was looking for a certain warning about mirroring, and I didn't see it. So I was concerned there for a moment. So here we are. This dashboard is at dune.com/xmtp_team/dash. We'll share the link as well in the notes and follow up from today's session. As you can see, we have here this total reachable identities number that is very much what we are focused on tracking in terms of understanding the reach of the network, as well as how that's broken down across the different namespaces. Coinbase Wallet has driven a very significant number of the or very significant portion of the reachable identities that have activated on XMTP. That should not be a surprise, given the integration of XMTP in Coinbase Wallet is actually paired with the activation of Coinbase CBIDs. So that number here is just a little over 900,000 that have gone through the 900,000 identities or CBIDs that were created as a result of the Coinbase Wallet onboarding experience that activates XMTP alongside those identities. From there, I actually want to focus on something on the right-hand side here. These dominance charts, and this really illustrates how we see different usage between social profiles and social profiles and wallet identifiers. So the first table here or chart here, area chart here on the top right, which is the daily activated identities chart, tracks identities rather than wallets. Meaning, if there is a wallet that has, say, 5 different ENS domains associated with it, or 10 different unstoppable domains associated with it, all of those 5 or 10 domains count as identities that are reachable in the network. So, for instance, I own solmc.eth and solcarlton.eth, and you can reach me at both of those identities on XMTP because both are associated with the wallet that I have activated on XMTP. I also have another CBID on a different wallet, which some people use to message me. That in and of itself is a separate identity and a separate wallet. The difference here between this top right daily activated identities and bottom right daily activating wallets, you can see in the total share that is broken down from wallet identifiers, the wallet identifiers unstoppable in ENS, which totals about 40% here on identifiers, and actually only about 20% on activating wallets. What this says is that, in fact, it is the case that wallets that use XMTP that have wallet identifiers like ENS and Unstoppable tend to have multiple identifiers for those wallets, multiple ways to reach those wallets, multiple ways that they present themselves. Whereas the wallets that are activating lens profiles and Farcaster profiles, or I should say actually verifying wallets associated with their FIDs tend to verify only one wallet on XMTP that's associated with their FID, and only have one wallet associated with their Lens profile. Of course, what is staring us in the face, very revealing about these dominance charts, is the trend over time. And I think that it's fair to say that Lens has been having a great last month or two, both in terms of the share of wallets activating on XMTP, which currently in the last 7 days, they're actually at 68% of wallets that have identities that have activated on XMTP. They've also accounted for 50% of new identities on XMTP in the last 7 days. You can see that reflected here on the bottom left in the daily activated identities chart. This is just a group bar chart where for every day we have the 4 different tracked identifiers and profiles broken out, and Lens once again stands out above the rest for this last couple weeks. You'll notice that Coinbase is missing from these because Coinbase data CBID is off chain. We actually only have it at the aggregate level. We don't have it the ability to time series it the way we do with the other charts, so it is excluded, unfortunately. The last thing, just for perspective, and I mentioned this previously, is the activation of wallets on the network as a whole, separate of identities. This is, again, just for perspective. We see over here 35 million activated wallets on the network, and very recently a significant increase in the number of wallets being activated daily, recently an all-time high of 662,000. That's cool to see, totally irrelevant to the user experience or developer experience of XMTP today. So that's the dashboard. Let me just stop my screen share now. Find that button. Jeha, where is the stop screen share button?
Okay, hold on. It's at the very bottom, next to the smiley face. Do you have something there? To the right of the...
Maybe I need to...
or up top? Yeah. Or up top, maybe it says stop screen share.
There we go. All right. And if you put the deck back up.
Sure.
I wanted to call attention to 2 things.
Oops, hold on.
Next slide. Just the last one in the series.
This one.
2 more. Next one. Yeah,
I'm
great.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, all good. So these are the links. I mentioned the dashboard's available at dune.com/xmtp_team/dash. The second is actually the link to, within Dune, to the XMTP dataset. So this is, as I mentioned, a list of all activated addresses, all 35 million activated addresses on XMTP, which can be joined with any on-chain data on Dune to produce these kinds of charts and to observe the activity of different wallets and how they, different wallets on XMTP and what they're doing on chain. So we are excited to share this and invite data scientists and developers to explore the data and build on top of it, and happily answer any questions from the group.
Great. I think we have a question.
There's a question in chat.
Yeah.
Curious if someone can share thoughts on Warpcast DirectCast feature, which allows users to message one another on Farcaster compared to XMTP. Seems like Farcaster's programmable DC launch recently has been gaining traction in terms of usage amongst developers. I've noticed functionality for Warpcast DC similar to XMTP's functionality, but more focused on the Farcaster ecosystem. That's right. Warpcast DirectCasts are obviously for the Farcaster ecosystem. They are available only in Warpcast currently, although outside developers can now publish into Warpcast using a very simple API endpoint for publishing messages. This enables broadcast use cases similar to what we see in XMTP that are many of our developers are focused on in terms of bringing notifications and alerts and other content directly to users' inboxes. What XMTP's protocol offers, of course, is interoperability. Any application that uses XMTP is an XMTP inbox, can not only send messages and receive those messages. The XMTP protocol is also on a path of progressive decentralization. Of course, I expect that Farcaster as well is thinking about interoperability and how they decentralize the protocol. But at the moment, the protocol itself is tied to Warpcast, the app, and operated in a centralized fashion. But the main distinction I want to point out is privacy. XMTP is end-to-end encrypted. The upcoming version 3 of XMTP uses messaging layer security, which is the IETF's latest standard in end-to-end encryption, which offers forward secrecy, post-compromise security, a number of other properties that matter in the world of privacy and encryption. And we really see XMTP as enabling private chats between members of communities, close friends, teams, where privacy and encryption really are important, where those messages can't be read by anyone else. That's not the case right now with Warpcast DCs. Decentralizing non-encrypted messaging is a challenge because you're essentially putting messages publicly online. And where we're starting is from a place of we believe in, as I kick this off, privacy is paramount for our users, for the use cases of XMTP, and there's really nothing we would compromise against that for expedience at the app level or at the protocol level, and that's allowed us to be in this position where we are decentralizing from a basis of already having encrypted the protocol and already having protected the privacy of users in the privacy of their data and communications.
Great. Wow. Thank you, Saul.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Any other questions? All right. Well, let us keep moving along. And if we have time at the end, we can open it up again for open floor for questions as well. So let us move ahead and let's see here. Brian, would you like to take us through engineering update?
Yeah, there's a ton to talk about since our last call. So our work on Universal ID is now available in the Android, iOS, and React Native SDKs. Inbox consent has also shipped in Android and iOS. We've had a lot of progress on open frames since our last call. My colleague Fabri will have a little bit more about that later in the call. But transactions, minting, and subscribe with consent are all now supported there. We also, as of yesterday, completed our initial pass on Node.js support, which we talked about in our last call. So that's out there. And also discussed in our last call was a group database wipe that was upcoming that now happened, is now in the past. It happened last Friday. So partners, you now have a clean slate for group chat integration. Hit me with the next slide. So yeah, what's coming up? The rest of this month, it's going to be polish and pre-release bug fixes. So if your feedback is always valuable, it's even more valuable right now. Once we ship to prod, obviously, with a protocol like this, you need to move very carefully. So if you need something or see something that might be a breaking change, you're not sure, please let us know now, because we would like to consider it and take care of it, if at all possible, before we go to prod rather than after. That's it for me.
Thank you so much, Brian. All right, here we go. Fabri, would you like to take us through some DevX updates, please?
Hey, yes, I'm Fabri, Devrel for XMTP. And so we have published a couple of tutorials this week. I'm going to share my screen and okay, can you see the screen?
It's coming. Let's see.
Can you see the screen now?
I think we see we see the huddle itself. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's great.
Okay, great. So first, we publish updated docs for notifications. It's more organized now, and we have separated Android from iOS. And now we have this cool diagram that shows the flow in simple terms. So this was previously kind of confusing for devs. So now you can see how how the network, the notification server, the mobile app, and the notification server like Firebase interact with each other. And you can see the flow explained in simple steps from when you send the message until it gets received through a push notification. So let me know if this is understandable. And yeah, it's a cool update for the notifications, and also the notification server was updated using some new properties, like you can specify in a content type if the message should receive a push notification or not. This is useful. For example, a reaction is not going to have a push notification, but a message is going to have one. And then we publish 2 tutorials about frames. So the first one is on how to subscribe on frames, and I'm going to show the demo of this tutorial. So as you can see, you create a new conversation and you can send a frame. This frame is triggering a wallet connection. So it's a very lightweight signature, and it's going to give you consent at the protocol level. So after you accept this signature, then the sender is going to send you a message, and this message is going to go into your main inbox, not in the request inbox. So this is a much better way to give consent by just allowing the one wallet connection. And this is already live in the frame example, and this is going to work in WordCast or any other client that renders frame. And then we have another example of the transaction. In this case, is for minting. Great. So that was two videos made from Daria from our team. And you can see how to make open frames compatible with transactions, minting, and subscribe on the documentation in the section of tutorials. Thank you. That was DevX updates.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Fabri. Does anyone have questions about what we just saw about those demos? Really interesting. Maybe we have something in the chat here. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Can we share links for the examples?
Yeah, sharing right now.
Great. Thank you for asking, Loco Block. Yeah. Any other thoughts or questions about what Fabri just demoed? Okay, all right. We can come back if anything comes to mind. All right, and I'll go ahead and reshare here. And we just have one more segment, and it's a really quick one. I just want to share again our XMTP improvement proposals, our XIPs, and XIPs are a way to propose improvements to XMTP. Anyone can propose one, and anyone can provide feedback. And these are XIPs for which we have some notable updates. In particular, I wanted to call out that XIP 21 on-chain transaction reference content type has moved into final status. So that's actually the most exciting one here. And I anticipate that a few more will be moving into review status in the coming week, including frames and universal allow and block preferences. And I imagine there will be a movement on consent proofs as well. And that's the update for XIPs. Shall we have an open floor? Any topics up for discussion from the community, from anyone in the audience? We have, let's see here. Yeah. All right. Let's see. We may just, oh, I do have one item actually. We may be able to stop a little early today, but I did want to share a fun thing, which is that we do have XMTP post NFTs, just a fun project that we started up for the dev call, where for each dev call, we'll release a few, fun DIY NFTs to mark the occasion of each dev call. So we have a couple available today that just opened up for mint at the start of this call. So I'll put a link to where you can mint them on Zora. And again, it's just a way to show support for folks who are building with XMTP. And again, for every call, we'll have a few more designs drop. And I think eventually we'll be able to take contributions from the community as well. All right, folks. Well, it has been wonderful seeing everyone today. A last call for any topics? Questions? All right, fantastic. Have a great week, everybody. Take care.